Guys, this topic has been on my mind for the past month. Is Golden State's title that they recently just won against the Boston Celtics, is it considered legitimate? I'm going to go with yes, but there is some caveats to it. If you are an avid watcher or listener of this channel, then you would know that I made a video of this exact same topic last year, but with the Milwaukee Bucks, asking if their title was legitimate. And I said, oh, hell to the no. It is far from legitimate, and this past year proved why it wasn't legitimate. But in this situation, I'm doing a complete 180 and going, yes, that the Golden State Warriors title is legitimate. But as I just said, there is some caveats in this legitimacy of what they call a title. Let's wind the clocks back so I could put it into the best context, and you guys can look at this in the whole grand scheme of things. Let's wind the clocks back to 2015. Golden State Warriors, I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the 2014-2015 season, nobody expected them to be in the finals. Not only were they in the finals, they had the best record in the league, 67-15. Only 15 losses. That is absolutely amazing, considering that they weren't even close to the conference finals the year prior. They breezed through the 2015 playoffs, sweeping the Pelicans, defeating the Grizzlies in 6, defeating the Rockets in 5, all to lead against all roads, which would lead to playing LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Everyone knew LeBron and the Cavs were going to be in the finals that year, but the big question was, who are they going to play? That question was answered, and that being the Golden State Warriors. And if you're an avid NBA watcher, I'm pretty sure the Warriors being in the finals was pretty shocking to you. It was shocking to me. The Warriors kind of came out of nowhere. Like, everyone knew they were good, but I'm sure no one thought they'd win a title in the next 5 years at that point. And I was a little bit pissed off of this unwarranted attention, this unwarranted media praise that these guys were getting. I was kind of pissed off. I'm like, what have they accomplished? They haven't accomplished anything. Why are they getting so much praise? Why is Steph already getting called the greatest shooter of all time? I just feel like the hype on them is too much. Everyone is in over their head. They just want to see LeBron fall. And I've said this before. I'll say it again. They beat the Cleveland Cavs, not the Cleveland Cavaliers. They beat the Cleveland Cavs in 6 games. Remember, they were down 2-1 in those finals. What I mean by they beat the Cleveland Cavs and not the Cleveland Cavaliers is because Kevin Love got hurt in the first round matchup against the Boston Celtics with a gruesome shoulder injury. And in the finals, Klay Thompson, the shite he is, I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack, but still, that shite ran into Kyrie Irving's knee, shattering his kneecap and sidelining Kyrie Irving for a very long time. Kyrie Irving didn't play next season. He didn't play next season until about the season was halfway done and over with. So, it was a matchup I expected, and it was a matchup that I'm like, all right, let's see what they got. It's sink or swim time with the Warriors. Let's see what they're made of. Let's see if they're built for this. And being down 2-1 with LeBron playing one of the greatest stretch of games he's ever played, I thought, well, that's what I thought. LeBron's going to bring it home. He's going to get his 3rd title, and he's going to win his first title in Cleveland. Well, if only we knew that LeBron was going to run out of gas, even though the deli was open. We knew that LeBron was going to run out of gas because, let's be honest, the Warriors were playing the Cleveland LeBron James. That's it. You got to stop one man, and that's what Andre Iguodala did, and that's what led the Warriors to win the next 3 games in a row, en route to winning probably their easiest title. I don't know if it is their easiest. More on their easiest later. But you guys get the idea. They defeated an unhealthy Cleveland Cavaliers team. LeBron James ran out of gas purely. If they didn't win that finals, I think that would be worse than when they choked on that 3-1 lead. That was Steph's time to shine, and Steph's numbers didn't really equate to the MVP level of play that he has shown in the regular season. And it was pretty mind-boggling to see Iguodala win the championship MVP, considered that Steph played, a little bit better, a little bit all right, but still, it's just, it was a weird finals, super weird finals. Let's go to 2015, 2016. Warriors have the greatest season ever. They win 73 games, defeating the Bulls' previous record of 72-10. They go 73-9. People were calling them the greatest team ever. Yada, yada, yada. Cool. Cool beans. No one's going to knock on them for that. That is a feat that no one will take away from them. 73 wins. Awesome. But like Jordan and Pippen and many other people that were a part of that Bulls team that did go 72-10, they said this one quote that stuck in my mind that entire season. It don't mean a thing without a ring. It purely don't. You could be the greatest regular season of all time, but if you get bounced in the playoffs or if you get bounced in the finals, what are you going to be remembered as? Not the greatest team ever. That's why people still think that that Chicago Bulls team that was 72-10 is the greatest team ever, and I concur with those people. But as the Warriors were on this historical run, I knew that, the matchup we're going to get in the finals is the Cavs and the Warriors. Round 2, the rematch. I knew we were going to get that. I'm just like, there's no way in hell this doesn't happen. And watch. I was telling my friends at school this because one of my best friends, shout out to him, is a diehard Golden State Warriors fan. He's one of the few diehard Golden State Warriors fans. He ain't a Warriors fan that came when the Warriors started having success. He ain't like 75% of the Warriors fan base. No, he is a true day one diehard Warriors fan from the We Believe days, from when the Warriors were the 8th seed and defeated the Jazz, the number 1 seed. So I told him, I'm like, dude, if they meet in the finals again, and if the Cavaliers are healthy, there is no way on God's green earth that the Warriors beat them. And that was the matchup we were waiting for. And we just had to get through the playoffs. Warriors breezed through the Rockets, gentlemen sweeping them in 5 games. Then they defeated the Portland Trailblazers, gentlemen sweeping them in 5 games. Then they ran into Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. They played probably one of the greatest regular season games of all time, February 27, 2016. It was one of Steph Curry's best games that kept their streak of being a great team, breaking Michael Jordan's Bulls record alive when Steph Curry hit one of the craziest shots I've ever seen, Mike Breen's double bang call. Truly something iconic. And I hate the Warriors, so you know that me saying this, it means that it was that great. It was that special. But if there is anyone in the West that I felt could beat the Warriors, it was the Thunder with Kevin Durant and his prolific scoring and his prolific defense. Russell Westbrook with his averaging of triple-doubles, getting his teammates involved and playing tenacious defense. Andre Robertson, Serge Ibaka, they had some shooters. They had a decent squad, but like I said, if there was anyone that could defeat the Warriors in the West, it was them. And they were up 3-1 at one point. Everyone was calling their kids, telling their kids to put them to bed because Thunder were going to the finals, and they just knocked off the greatest team of all time. That's not what happened. Game 6, Clay happened, and we know the rest. The Thunder choked on that 3-1 deficit. It was probably the most career-defining series in both Russell Westbrook's career and Kevin Durant's career. The Cavaliers breezed through the playoffs that year as well. They defeated the Pistons in 4. They defeated the Hawks in 4. And they defeated the Raptors in 6. And it led to the biggest finals matchup of all time, in my opinion. We know what happened there as well. Warriors smacked them the first 2 games. Cleveland came back, smacked them in game 3. Warriors won a narrowing game, kind of barely beating them, but still, it was an exclamation point, going up 3-1. No team in NBA Finals history has ever came back from a 3-1 deficit. They were 0-32 at that point. And I just had this feeling. I had this feeling that, you know what? LeBron and the Cavs are going to get it done. They're going to make history. Not only did they make history, they did it in spectacular, devastating fashion. I mean, winning by 15 in Game 5, winning by 16 in Game 6, and winning by 4 to cap off the greatest comeback in NBA history and putting an end to the Warriors' greatest season ever quest that they were on. That's what I'm fucking talking about. They beat a real team, a healthy team. They're not going to fucking win. And they didn't. LeBron James won Finals MVP, and the Warriors were who I thought they were. And I was so happy to see them fall. In a way, they got their karma, but in the most shocking, most devastating way a player can have it. So the Cavs were on cloud nine. Cavs fans were on cloud nine. The entire city of Cleveland were on cloud nine in the summer of 2016. Talks of a repeat were definitely in the future. The stars were aligning for a repeat. That is until Kevin fucking Durant came and said, "Hey, can I play with you guys?" Or Draymond Green fled to the parking lot after Game 7, called Kevin Durant on the phone. Was like, "Kevin, we need you. We can't stop them without you. We need you." That's what they did. That's what he did. And along with Draymond, Steph and Clay crawled on their all fours, hands and knees, all the way to the Hamptons in New York on 4th of July weekend and begged Kevin Durant to come and save them. But they needed Kevin Durant just as much as Kevin Durant needed them. So that's what happened. Kevin Durant signed a deal with the Warriors that rocked the entire NBA world. I was in Las Vegas when the news broke, and I just remember my jaw hit the floor. And I'm like, whoa. Did that just freaking happen? No way that happened. No way. All this to stop one man and one man only. You had 4 All-Stars, 4 Hall of Famers to stop one man and one man only. And I'm like, that's a bitch move. That is a bitch move. You could have just gave them the trophy right then and there. And they breezed through the playoffs, defeating the Trailblazers in 4, Jazz in 4, Spurs in 4, and they defeated the Cavs in 5. It was a matchup most NBA fans expected. It was a matchup many NBA fans wanted to see, including myself. However, the Cavs were breezing through the playoffs too. I mean, they defeated the Pacers in 4, they defeated the Raptors in 4, and they defeated the Celtics in 5. So it was 12-0 versus 12-1. High intense matchup. It was the trilogy of all trilogies. This was going to define which team is the best team, not only as a whole of that season, but which team can solidify themselves as a dynasty. And everyone knew the Warriors were going to win. I'm pretty sure no one thought the Cavs were going to win. I had the Cavs in 7 because I knew it was going to be an unmountable feat that many people couldn't see the Cavs doing. But I had faith, I had hope, and they just came up short because of one man, Kevin Durant. LeBron James averaged a triple-double, but it wasn't enough because Kevin Durant scored over 30 points in all 5 games that they played, and rightfully so, won the Finals MVP. 2018 rolls around, the group is still intact. And, many people knew, all right, they're going to win the title, but that's when we saw a little bit more of the losses. We saw a little bit more rift in the group. They meet the Cavs in the finals again. However, Kyrie Irving is not with them. It is again the LeBron James, the Cleveland LeBron James. LeBron James doesn't have another co-star like KD, Steph, Clay, and Draymond. It was totally unfair. And the Warriors did exactly what they were supposed to do, but this time they didn't gentlemen sweep the Cavs. They purely swept them. Cool, you were supposed to do that. LeBron James can't guard anyone, and he can't score all the points. It just don't work like that. As obvious as it sounds, but like I said, it was like reminiscent of 2015 where they beat the Cleveland LeBron James and not the Cleveland Cavaliers. And it sucked. It pained me to watch that finals because once again, like Game 3 2017, Kevin Durant made a very clutch shot to win the game for the Warriors. And in Game 3, of the 2018 NBA Finals, Steph Curry was struggling mightily. And still, Kevin Durant made the shot of shots. Back-to-back titles, back-to-back MVPs, Finals MVPs that is, for Kevin Durant. Now, 2019, this is where things get dicey. This is where things really come to the forefront. We all know about that argument on November 12th, 2018 between Kevin Durant and Draymond. And it was the career-defining moment of both Draymond and KD. It helped push Kevin Durant out the door of Golden State. It was against the Clippers. Kevin Durant wanted the ball while Draymond went coast to coast and lost the ball because he's a stupid ass. But that's what he did. And that left a sour taste in Kevin Durant's mouth. But it didn't shadow the fact that, all right, Warriors are going to get back to the finals and they're going to three-peat. The question is, against who? LeBron's out of the East. He's in the West. Who's going to be coming out of the East to challenge them? It was a team from Canada, the Toronto Raptors. And I knew they were going to win. I knew they were going to win because the Warriors were falling apart, literally, physically, actually falling apart. Kevin Durant got hurt in the playoffs against the Clippers. Boogie Cousins tore his quad. Klay Thompson tore his hamstring in game 2. And the Raptors looked like they were that close to knocking them off until Kevin Durant came back in game 5 and injured his Achilles. And it seemed like the Warriors were getting a taste of their own medicine because every team they beat, it seems like, they beat off of sheer luck. Like I said in 2015, they defeated the Cavs, not the Cavaliers, because the Cavaliers were unhealthy. They defeated the Rockets because Chris Paul tore his hamstring in 2018. And we all know if Chris Paul would have stayed healthy, the Rockets would have beat him. And it would have been the Rockets going to the NBA Finals, not the Golden State Warriors. Just so many breaks after breaks the Warriors have been getting because of other teams' injuries. And I'll get to more on that later. But there's just a theme in the Warriors' titles or finals appearances due to the other team's lack of staying healthy. And it seems like it was coming back to biting them in the ass when even Klay Thompson got hurt in Game 6. And let me remind you, Steph Curry didn't play all that great in any of these NBA Finals. In 2016, Games 5 through 7, he played like shit. In 2019, Game 6, he missed a clutch shot that could have won them the game or tied the game for them. Had a clean, wide-open look that we seen regular season Steph Curry knock down. But when he came to knocking the shot down in the finals, he wasn't there to do it. And that led the Raptors to winning the title. First team in Canada to win an NBA Finals. And I was happy. It was like my own team won the NBA Finals. But I just want to see the Golden State Warriors fall because I felt like they didn't deserve to be there. Kevin Durant tore his Achilles, and, he's on his way to Brooklyn because of the whole Draymond incident. And the Warriors don't have Klay, so it's just Steph and Draymond. And in that season, 2019-2020, Steph breaks his hand, and it was a terrible season for them. They didn't get invited to the bubble because they had a terrible record, and I was just happy to finally see no Warriors in the NBA Finals. So you kind of can't count that year. 2021, Klay tears his Achilles in an offseason workout, and it is still Steph and Draymond. No KD to save them this time throughout the season. The Warriors did make the play-in, but they didn't make the playoffs because they ran into the Lakers and they ran into the Grizzlies. And people were starting to think, is the Warriors dynasty legitimate because of what Kevin Durant did to help them? People were thinking that, and people were calling Steph overrated. Not ESPN, though, because ESPN treats Steph Curry as their golden child. 2021, 2022, I said in my preseason predictions, watch out for the Warriors. They're going to come back healthy, and we all know what they're capable of when they're healthy. Shall Klay Thompson return? And he did, but halfway when the season was gone and over with. Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Draymond helped the Warriors have the greatest season ever. With that being said, I had them going to the conference finals against my Los Angeles Lakers. They did go to the conference finals, just not against the Lakers. But this goes back to them getting lucked out in the playoffs. Let's go through this. So they play the Nuggets in the first round with Nikola Jokic, back-to-back MVP, rightfully deserved, Nuggets best player. However, they had no Jamal Murray and they had no Michael Porter Jr. So again, the only person carrying the load for the Nuggets was Nikola Jokic. Easy win for them. They won in 5. Then fast forward to the Memphis series. Ja Morant, number 2 seed, number 3 seed, could have been the conference finals matchup, but instead we get it in the conference semifinals. Ja Morant and them barely lose game 1, and I was pissed because they should have won game 1. They won game 2, should have been up 2-0. And then, they go and win game 3, the Warriors do. And then they go up and win game 4, making it 3-1. And I'm just like, man, here we go again. I'm tired of seeing Golden State leads 3-0, Golden State leads 2-0. I'm tired of seeing that shit. But what the biggest caveat of this entire playoff run is that the Warriors, again, got gifted a series win because Ja Morant got hurt. His knee tweaked, and he was out for games 4, 5, and 6 of that series. And I just couldn't believe it. That, again, another team's best player gets hurt, and the Warriors advance. Let's not forget, in Game 5, the Warriors were down by 55 points. 55 points. And I'm like, if the Warriors win the series, there's no way in hell they're defeating any team in the finals or the rest of the playoffs going on. But they did because, again, Ja Morant got hurt. It's just a fact. They knew what they were up against, and they lucked out once again. Then they played a Dallas Mavericks team that should not have been there, you guys. A Dallas Mavericks team that defeated the Phoenix Suns, who let their finals appearance from last year get to their head. And, they did what they were supposed to do. They took care of business. I'm sure everyone knew that the Warriors were going to smack the Mavericks, and it led them going back to the finals against the Celtics, who I thought were going to defeat them. I thought, you know what? If the Celtics defeated the Nets, if they defeated the Bucks, the defending champs, and they defeated the Heat, the number 1 seed, they are going to defeat the Warriors. Not easily, but they're just going to beat them. I knew Miami wasn't going to beat the Warriors. They didn't have the firepower to match up with them, but Boston did. That's what happens when you drink coffee before a podcast. So, Game 1 goes to the Celtics, to everyone's shock. They went on a 17-0 run in the fourth quarter, and people are like, oh man, Warriors are in trouble. Warriors come back in Game 2, they smack them. Celtics come back in Game 3, smack them. They win by 10, I think. Celtics win in Game 3. Warriors come in Game 4, win. Steph Curry scores over 30 points in every finals matchup. That's great. He gets his first ever finals MVP. Much respect. It's warranted. But still, now that I'm looking at it, the reason why I have this picture up right here, Steph Curry was crying, and rightfully so. He should be crying. Were the Celtics the right opponent to be in that finals matchup? No. The only rightful opponent for the Warriors, in my mind, were the Brooklyn Nets. Just that plain and simple. The Brooklyn Nets would have pushed the Warriors to the brink. The Celtics just weren't ready. Celtics just shouldn't have been there because of, just because they beat every other team, they just shouldn't have been there. It's that plain and simple. And Steph Curry is crying because he knows this is the Warriors' only legitimate title. Everyone knows that. And that's why everyone is giving them their roses. Because everyone knows. Everyone knows. And, you go back to the Kevin Durant titles, he gifted them those titles. You go back to the first Cleveland Cavalier wins, they got gifted that titles because of the injuries that plagued them. What happened when they played someone healthy and fresh? They lost. They played an immature Celtics team. They won. Experience was on the Warriors' side. They should have won, and they did. With that being said, the Warriors only have one championship.